Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create these nails with the 3D art and all, and hand-painted art as well. So let's dive into the video. Alright, so the nails are already prepped, and this video is mainly going to be about the art and how to use the gel paints to create this design. So if you're fairly new to doing nails, you can definitely go back to one of my previous videos to find out how to prep the nails for the acrylic application. I did put the acrylic in this video just to show you guys a little eye candy. Just kidding, but I just wanted to show you guys this part as well. It's pretty important to learn how to shape as you go. That's also a huge part of creating a beautiful design on top of the nail, so that's why I put this in the video. But if you guys are not new and you just want to get to the art, you can skip this into the video about 10 minutes and 35 seconds or so, and we'll start getting into the art. So I hope you guys enjoy watching. This part here is in real time. I did not speed up this part for the first nail. I normally just do that in all my videos, and then I'll just speed up the rest of the nails, or not the nails, but you know what I mean. I'll speed up the rest of the video for the rest of the nails just to save time. But for the first nail, I pretty much always just put that in real time, whether I'm doing prep, acrylic, designs, whatever it is. It's always going to be in real time for the first nail. So if you are watching this part and you're watching me apply the acrylic, I'm starting with the tip of the nail, and then I'm working my way back to the cuticle. That's the best way that I've found recently to, get the best results when you're doing acrylic. Just because the cuticle is a very complicated area and I always tend to mess it up if I do it first for some reason. So I just decided to go backwards, and I found it to work very much more efficiently. If you are new to acrylics, I did make a video on just how to do acrylic nails as well. You can go back and look at that. And also, if you can see here, I'm shaping as I go with the brush. I'm kind of making sure that the shape fits to what my desired outcome would be before it hardens, because this acrylic is self-drying. So you want to make sure you work kind of quickly with it, but you also have to know how to pick up an acrylic bead and how to place it correctly and how to work it before it hardens. I love the self-drying acrylic because it is just much easier than, putting it in the lamp and wasting all of that extra time. It does dry fairly quickly. The acrylic I'm using here is the Kiara Sky Rose Water Acrylic is the name of that one, and it's kind of like a nude pinkish color, perfect for nude nails or French tips and just any basic look that you're going for, but still classy, still nice, never goes out of style. Anyways, so as you can see, that cuticle bead that I applied was a little bit easier for me. And then of course towards the end we'll do the filing and shaping, but this is pretty much what the nail looks like for now. I'm adding one more bead on top to create the strength of the nail. You don't want it to be too thin. You want to make sure that it's nice and thick enough to withstand all of your daily tasks for the next couple weeks. These nails should last for at least like 2 weeks, but of course I probably won't wear them that long just because I make these videos. But this is basically how you will apply your acrylic, and once you learn how to pick up an acrylic bead, it becomes much easier to work with it in a timely manner. And this is also something to keep in mind if you're planning on doing other people's nails. Sometimes they can take a long time, and this is usually the longest part. Of course, that's also dependent on whatever design you're going to do, but it's really important to master this part. You don't even have to use acrylic if you're more comfortable with gel or polygel. That's fine too, but if you're interested in acrylic, just know that it is going to take a lot of work and time to master. Unless, you just get it right offhand. Some people do, some people are just naturals. I wasn't. Took me a couple years to get just here, and I'm still not 100%, with my work. But anyways, just know that. Just expect that when you're starting out. Don't get frustrated. It's going to happen. It's just one of those things that's, it can be a learning curve. So set that expectation for yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself when you're first starting out. If you don't get it right away, or if it still takes you time, like I said, it took me a couple years. I started doing nails when pretty much when the pandemic started. That's when I decided I was just going to do my nails at home, play it safe, and not be in public areas anymore. So I decided to do that, and it's one of the best decisions I've made, because if this is something that you decide to pursue, it can also turn into a career. So yeah, it's a great thing. But anyways, as you can see here, the speed is sped up. I did show each and every single bead that I used for this video. I just thought it would be cool for you guys to see how the bead melts and how easy it is to work with once I put it on the nail. So there you see it melting, and it's easy to work with. It's not too runny and it's not too hard. So it's still very, very moldable, very much able to be manipulated still. So I am working with that and mostly creating the shape with the first couple beads, and then I go on top with one last bead to make sure that the nail is still pretty thick and strong. One thing I forgot to mention if you're new is that it's important to clean off your brush on the paper towel or some kind of napkin as you go, so that acrylic doesn't dry in your brush. So just, you'll feel it when it's time, when you start feeling that you've worked with the bead for like a few seconds or whatever. Just, wipe off the bead every now and then, or the brush.
Usually it's something that moves. So then, why?
Alright, so now that that's done, this is how they look after they're dry. And I'm going to start filing and shaping. I'm starting with a 180/130 grit nail file. After that's done for all the nails, I'm going to use my e-file, and I'm using this coarse bit, setting it to the highest setting, and then setting it to the forward direction, since I'm using my right hand to do my left hand. So I'm just going to go over the surface of the nail and make sure that it's nice and smooth and even, and I'm fixing the apex there a little bit to make sure that it's not looking crazy from the sides. And I'm doing the same thing around the cuticle area here. This e-bit is rounded at the top, so I can get pretty close to the cuticle without hurting myself, and it's really helpful to clean up that cuticle area and make sure that it's nice and flush.
It helps the speaker lead his audience into the scene he described by creating an imaginary picture. Usually, it's something that moves.
Alright, so once that's done for all the nails, I'm just gonna buff the surface with this buffing block on all of the nails. Wiping that off with a brush, and I'm going in with my 3D art first. So I picked up a pretty dry bead of white acrylic. Whenever you're doing 3D art, you want to pick up a little bit of a more dry bead of acrylic than you normally would, and that's because you don't want it to run. You want to be able to just mold it quickly into a petal or whatever, shape you're doing quickly. So I did a couple of those on the pointer finger, making some flower petals, and I dragged this one a little bit further more to the tip. I'm sure you guys have seen this design before, but I dragged this one a little further out and make it a bit of a longer, pointier petal, if that makes sense. And that's just gonna be like a side petal design. So now I'm using a liner brush. It is very long, and this brush is perfect for any lines that you're trying to do. It is super easy to use. It creates the best, most perfect lines you can think of. Mine are not perfect, but that's just because I'm not perfect. But, they are still pretty good, and I'm going in with a different, almost like a taupe beige color. It almost looks close to that pink acrylic color, but it's a little more brown. I'm using that liner brush as well to create a diamond, and after every design I do, I cure in my UV LED lamp for a few seconds, maybe 1 to 2 minutes, so that I can create the next design on top. So after that's cured, I'm going in again with a white and making little diamonds there, and then I'm going back with my liner brush to create some more art on the outside of that. For the ring finger, I did like a half French look. So I created the French smile line, and then I stop in the middle and I drag a line down to the tip. I'm going in after curing that with, again, that brownish taupe color to fill in the middle, and then I'm painting the full pinky nail with that same color. Then I'm creating some more diamonds down in this ring finger half French design. I'm using that same liner brush. I just wiped it off with a paper towel and some acetone, and I just wiped off gently the white that was on there. So that's what I do between each color that I'm using. I'm using the same brush. I just clean it off with a paper towel and acetone very gently, only on the bristles, and then go on to the next design. Here I'm doing again the 3D flower look, and I forgot to mention earlier, but I am using a much smaller art brush for this. It is very, very thin, not as thin as the liner, of course, but it's thin enough to where I can create small petals. So going back to the pointer finger, I'm adding some nail glue, and I'm just gonna put a tiny rhinestone there. And I'm doing the same thing just to create and fill in that empty space, and doing the same thing on the pinky and adding one on the ring finger. After that's done, I'm top coating all of the nails. You want to top coat afterward if you're able to not top coat on top of the rhinestones, because then it will kill the shine in them. So you want to top coat around your 3D design or your rhinestones. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using that top coat to go around and kind of lock everything in. You can top coat before. It's probably recommended that you do it before, but I wanted to do it afterward because I felt like I'm not the best with 3D art just yet. I'm still getting the hang of it, so I didn't want to ruin anything. But I just cleaned those up with a sharp, to create a sharper edge with a hand file. And then once that's done for all the nails, I'm just adding my cuticle oil. This is my favorite part because it just makes the look come together for some reason. The cuticles are everything, y'all. They really do make everything look so great. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was helpful, and please feel free to ask any questions or leave comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.